Hey everybody, welcome to New Zealand's biggest gap year. It's an epic adventure that my partner Laura and I decided to tackle a few years back. The adventure, 365 activities all around New Zealand in 365 days. And today we're going to check out probably what's most popular gannet colony in New Zealand. It's the Cape Kidnappers Gannet Colony. Join me at the end of the video when I'm going to go over some of the local comments that we got the first time we published it. See you then.
We have just arrived at Gannet Beach Adventures. It's a bit of a gloomy day, so we have our rain jackets on and we're gonna go check in.
As soon as we check in with the Gannet Big Adventure, we are noticing a massive tractor right in front of their building. This huge engine is gonna take us across the beach all the way to Cape Kidnappers.
There's something very Kiwi about having a bunch of people on a trailer on the back of a tractor, but there's a reason behind this nonsense. This is the easiest way to get to Cape Kidnappers because there's no roads leading to Cape Kidnappers, so you can only go at low tide by tractor or by walking. Despite it being a really bumpy ride, it's surprisingly comfortable with these padded seats, footrests and something to hold on to for those extremely bumpy parts. We do stop along the way for our enthusiastic and passionate guide Colin to tell us more about the amazing geology of the area. In all our excitement to see gannets, we almost forgot that Cape Kidnappers is actually a really awesome place to see some extreme geological features. The layers of land that we can see look like a set of stairs, and it's all been deformed due to tectonic forces folding and tilting the land. We get some really awesome examples of all that stuff that we learned at school but never could really see examples of. Not only can we see layers and layers of history in the rocks dating back to 4.5 million years, Colin also shows us fossils of sea creatures when this part of the land was formed under the water.
Shortly after receiving all this massive amount of information from Colin, we are back on the tractor. We are making our way through the beach, which is absolutely stunning. We can see tons of rocks layers and all those kind of things, and on top of it, we get to see our first gannets. This is a much smaller gannet colony than the one we are actually heading toward. This one is just right up the cliff. It is absolutely amazing how close we can get to all those animals without them being so frightened. We start getting to see them flying across the wind. You can see that they are more glider than actually wing flappers. It's quite interesting to see them behave that way. And we start seeing a little bit of their behavior, notably the fact that they love to grab seaweeds and bring it to each other. Upon watching the colony a little bit closer, we start to get to see a bit of the youngsters, which are the very different looking ones. They are the grey with white spots. They are all being taken care of by two of their parents, which are flying back and forth to go feed them. But no time for that. We are now back on the tractor and making our way very slowly to the beginning of our hike toward the colony. So we just arrived at the hike section. It's about 20 minutes up to the biggest gannet colony in mainland, everywhere.
In the world?
Yeah, in mainland everywhere. It's a bit of a steep hike. We're really hot right now. The whole tour is left way behind us. It's a really steep climb.
But once we make it to the plateau colony, we realise that the hike is well worth the climb as we get to this huge colony of gannets right before us, behaving just with their everyday lives and not even caring that we are just a couple of meters away from them. There is a bit of a fence that we can't go over across, but that's still really close to them. At this distance, we get to appreciate the amazing details of these beautiful seabirds with their yellow plumage on their heads, leading down to their white bodies, and they even have these yellow stripes on their webbed feet as well, which is really cool, and there's vibrant blue eyes. They're just so stunning. The Cape Kidnappers area accommodates about 20,000 gannets at its peak time, and that's spread over 4 main nesting sites around the area, which we get different viewpoints from up here of. And this one is the plateau one, while down below we can see more of those gannet colonies on little offshore islands. The gannets are mainly at Cape Kidnappers between August and April every single year, solely for breeding purposes. And we learn more about their lives thanks to all the interpretation panels around, so you can read more information about it, as well as all the information that we got from Colin on our way down on the tractor. For instance, we learned that the chicks at around 15 to 16 weeks old take their first flight, and it's a pretty crazy one at that. It's a solo migration of around 2,800 kilometers to Australian waters. But unfortunately, there is a high mortality rate and only about 20% of those chicks return.
As we are making our way to a different section of the colony, we are enjoying seeing young chick practicing for flying. It's all about instinct, so they see their parents flying and they try to reproduce the same motion that they're doing. And there is a really high risk because it's not like starting walking, right? If you fuck up your first flight, you're dead. It's absolutely amazing to see an entire colony behaving. We see all of the birds interacting with each other. We see some of them giving gifts to each other. We see some of them bickering each other, some of them cleaning themselves, some of the chicks begging for food, some of the parents feeding the chicks, parents reunited after a long day at sea and kind of petting each other. It's an absolute blast to watch those things behave. You could just sit here and look at the colony for hours. But our trip is about 4 hours in total, so it gives us only about 40 to 45 minutes with the bird colony. To be fair, it is plenty enough time to enjoy it to its fullest, but I just can't stop wanting to be here for longer. But the rain is pushing us away, so we are walking, making our way back down to reunite with our guide and its tractor. And with that, it concludes our tour with Gannet Beach Adventures. We are heading toward Werrowa tomorrow, so don't miss it and join us then.
And to actually get to the gannet colonies at Cape Kidnappers, you have to access it by beach. There is Robin. There's a fly literally on my nose right now. How cheeky.
That's us. That's how smelly Laura is. That should tell you. Alright everybody, I hope that you enjoyed this video. We surely loved that activity. Anything to do with wildlife, we are always such a big fan of this. Alright, some of the comments we had the first time we published the video, one of them was from Janet Miller. She says, absolutely awesome. I am a New Zealander, but I had never heard or seen of this colony of gannets. We have a land colony in Auckland that can be easily accessed, and one of the must-do in Auckland, that's the Murray White Gannet Colony she's referring to. She said, thank you for this, love to go. I think this is one of your best videos so far. The long shots of the birds are magnificent. Thank you so much, Janet. So obviously, we're learning as we go. Fun fact, we never filmed anything before we started the day one of New Zealand's biggest gap year. So, you know, we are on day like 263, something like that right now. So obviously, we've learned a few things along the way. But yeah, that definitely is a trial by fire. Ruth Holman says, I did that trip in the early 1990s when my boys were young. It was awesome. That's so cool to hear that, you know, some of those tours are so long lasting in the country. That's amazing. Da Coco Master, is that a spot on username right here, mate? Says, I loved going on the tractor. Nice one. And then Red Fox says, my nan and pups run the camp that you would have gone past and went on the tractor because we got a free ticket from Colin. It's one of the friends of the family and he is amazing. Look at that. All the locals are commenting in there. I love it. Alright, if you guys find this video useful, subscribe, like, all that good thing is a great free way to reward all our hard work. And if you are planning a trip to New Zealand, two things for you. First up, you can join us during one of our live sessions. It's at 8 AM New Zealand time every single Sunday, where we answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. Second, check out nzpocketguide.com. It's New Zealand's largest travel guide and it's available for free. There is a link in the description of this video. Travel awesome, stay safe, we love you, see you in the next video, bye bye.